Modern military strategies are often born from the ashes of conflict, their doctrines shaped by the brutal realities of war. The Dahiya Doctrine, a term that sends chills down the spines of military strategists and international observers alike, is one such example. Emerging from the rubble of the 2006 Lebanon War, it embodies a controversial approach to warfare, one that advocates for the use of overwhelming and disproportionate force to achieve strategic objectives. This doctrine, while touted by some as an effective deterrent, has ignited fierce debates about proportionality in warfare and the very essence of international humanitarian law. Its legacy continues to shape military thinking and impact global conflicts even today. The Dahiya Doctrine, named after the Beirut suburb that became a focal point of the 2006 conflict, raises profound questions about the acceptable limits of warfare in the 21st century. Is the infliction of widespread destruction and civilian suffering a justifiable means to an end, even in the pursuit of strategic goals? As we delve deeper into the origins, principles, and consequences of the Dahiya Doctrine, we are forced to confront this unsettling question head-on. The answers, as we shall see, are far from simple and carry significant implications for the future of warfare. To understand the Dahiya Doctrine, we must rewind to the summer of 2006. Tensions between Israel and Hezbollah reached a boiling point. A cross-border raid by Hezbollah resulted in the deaths of Israeli soldiers and the capture of 2 others. Israel responded with a devastating air and ground offensive against Hezbollah targets. The Dahiya district, a Hezbollah stronghold, became a central theater in this conflict. Dahiya was subjected to relentless aerial bombardment by the Israeli Air Force. The objective was to cripple Hezbollah's military infrastructure. The result was widespread destruction of civilian infrastructure, leading to significant civilian casualties. The scale of destruction in Dahiya shocked the world and became a defining image of the 2006 Lebanon War. The term Dahiya Doctrine began to circulate, encapsulating a controversial military strategy. The world watched in horror, raising questions about the proportionality of force and the human cost. The Dahiya Doctrine, though never officially acknowledged by Israel, is widely understood to represent a strategic shift in military thinking. It centers on the principle of disproportionate retaliation, advocating for the use of overwhelming force that goes far beyond the immediate military objective. The aim, proponents argue, is not merely to defeat the enemy but to inflict such a devastating blow that it deters future aggression. This approach represents a departure from traditional military doctrines that emphasize proportionality and the minimization of civilian casualties. The Dahiya Doctrine, in contrast, sees the infliction of massive damage, even to civilian infrastructure, as a legitimate tool of war. The rationale is twofold: to break the enemy's will to fight and to send a chilling message to other potential adversaries. The doctrine's core tenets, however, have drawn sharp criticism from human rights groups and international legal scholars. They argue that it violates fundamental principles of international humanitarian law, which prohibits the targeting of civilians and civilian infrastructure. Furthermore, critics contend that the indiscriminate nature of such a strategy inevitably leads to widespread civilian casualties and suffering, as was tragically witnessed in the Dahiya district. The debate surrounding the Dahiya Doctrine, therefore, goes beyond mere military strategy, delving into the very heart of ethical conduct in warfare. While the Dahiya Doctrine is most closely associated with the 2006 Lebanon War, its echoes can be traced in other conflicts around the world. The Israeli military's operations in Gaza, particularly during the 2008 to 2009 and 2014 conflicts, have drawn comparisons to the tactics employed in Dahiya. The extensive use of air power against densely populated areas, resulting in significant civilian casualties and widespread destruction, has fueled accusations of disproportionate force. The brutal methods employed by Russian forces in Chechnya, particularly during the siege of Grozny in the late 1990s, bear striking similarities to the Dahiya Doctrine. The indiscriminate shelling and bombing of Grozny resulted in thousands of civilian deaths and left the city in ruins. The principle of overwhelming force to break the enemy's will, even at the expense of civilian lives and infrastructure, remains a chilling commonality. These examples underscore the uncomfortable reality that the Dahiya Doctrine while controversial, is not an isolated phenomenon. The use of disproportionate force continues to raise profound ethical and legal questions. As we grapple with the complexities of modern warfare, it is imperative to examine these instances as part of a broader pattern. This challenges the very foundations of international humanitarian law.